Oh yes, please. Yeah, I'll definitely know. So, okay, the first question is, how did you get into the roller pigeon hobby?
I used to know an old guy. His name was Buerta. His surname was Buerta. He used to stay on a plot in Pitfontein. So actually what happened every weekends, I went to him, I was cleaning his loft, and then I used to see, birds tumbling. So I asked him, I want to learn from this sport because it looks like a nice sport for humans.
Oh.
So what I actually do is I help him clean his loft, and then suddenly he started to give me some of his birds, and that's how we start to create birds, and that's how we come into the sport of the rollers.
Yes, 100%. So, for the newcomers in the hobby, what are the 3 things that you'd advise them to do?
The 3 things that I will actually say to take a lot of birds from most of people and try to sort them out. It's a time of wasting that you're going to do. Start with as small as you can to get the best birds, and then you start to build your family direct from that line, and then you can see how you're going to upgrade and going better to start your own family from the start.
Oh, got it. Does the size of the loft where you keep your birds have an impact or an effect on how they perform in the air?
For me, I don't see it can be a problem because you see, the smaller your cage actually, like my cages is, the better your pigeons learn to grouping. So because now if the loft, sometimes you'll find the other people's birds, it only depends the way how you're going to train your birds, because sometimes you'll find you must be cruel to be good as well, you see.
Got it.
But for me, there is no effect on sizes of lofts here.
Oh, got it. So how do you choose a mentor when you're in the roller pigeon hobby?
A mentor, I see a guy that's knowing what he's talking about, and just not want to say, hey, but this and that and these stories. He'll tell you what is the main important things that you must know of a bird. You must know the main important things. If a bird becomes sick, then you must also know how to treat a sick bird, and just to see how it's going. So a mentor is eigentlich a guy that's going to take you up, because if that guy is like a legend, he'll make you ending up the end of the day as a legend as well, because of learning from him.
Oh, got it. There are people who have started their family of birds from a hen or a cock. Which one do you prefer, starting from a hen or a cock?
It only depends on the hygienic of the bird. So, from a pedigree from a bird, then you can see from what line he's coming from and from what line you're going to now. But you get mostly that's good cocks, you get good hens. The most effective thing that I will actually say, it comes from the line of the pedigree of the birds that you're going to start from, what that line is coming from.
100%. Do you believe some colors roll better than other colors?
For me, I used to know slates, checks, millies, filled slates. For me, it's my deepest birds that I have as well here by me. Some of the birds I left, like the white birds that I have here, some of them they roll long, but especially on my color that I know that is working for me is my slates, my filled slates, and then my splashes as well. It's for my colors actually that's working good,
100%. Do you stock everything you breed?
I only stock if I can see a bird can produce for me what is in him. Because just to stock a bird and it don't roll, you're wasting your time, you're wasting breeding time. So actually to start taking your stock to your loft, you'll start to take them from the sky, because you can see how the bird was improved in the sky. You can see the role that it gives you in the sky. So actually, when you put him to your stock, then you know what you're going to work with it. You don't have to see, hey, but I'm going to try. No, then you know actually I'm starting working with this line.
Oh, yes. Okay. In a competition team, do you fly more cocks or more hens? How do you do it?
For me, in my competition, sometimes I'll only fly hens, sometimes I'll only fly cocks. Sometimes I'll depend, then I will fly maybe 1 cock or maybe 4 hens. Sometimes I'll fly to change, then I'll maybe take again 4 hens, 1 cock. Because mostly for me, what happens if your lofts is not separately, and your cocks is one side and your hens is not one side, but they are together, the time when they mating, and it comes to competition, so what happens if the cock or the hen is going to come sit, also the partner for her will come sit with you see.
True. Oh, 100%. Who would you say are people who you like and think are doing a great job with raising birds, locally or international?
For me, my biggest mentor that I have, I got two people. The one is VJ Governor, the other one is Dirk Swart.
Oh, 100%. What has been your biggest challenge over the years in raising roller pigeons?
My biggest challenge is to win VJ. He already won the fete a few times. He had it on score sheet, so to learn from him, like he will also tell you, I'm the only guy that he ever saw that can put long birds out. So it's what I was learned from him, how to work with that birds. He used to help me to make my birds. So from there, I know I had an improvement, so I learned from him, and that's where my long roll is coming from his learning that he teaches me. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. Okay, so if you lost all your birds, who would you start off with? Who would you go to and go get birds from?
From the people that I felt my line from, because I know what I had created for myself. So I know the people that had my line, I'll come in contact again with them, and then I'll start again from my line, because I already have a line to work, you see.
Oh, 100%. Why is it that sometimes a bird can be your best roller in the air, but it never produces itself when it's breeding time?
Because sometimes it only depends, because sometimes the bird can look for you healthy, or maybe if it's mating up, then he'll also, when he knows the hen will be on eggs. Because you see, if they are on breeding time, then they make changes to lay onto their eggs. So even if you know, sometimes you'll find in the day, maybe the cock will lay on the eggs, at night time the hen will lay on the eggs, or maybe they can change. So sometimes if the hen is on eggs, you can send out the cock to fly. The cock will know there's eggs into the nest, and maybe he knows it's his turn to lay on the egg, and he will just maybe pull out from the puck, and then he will come sit because he want to go to the eggs, you see.
Oh, 100%. Most people have SA distance with muffs. What's your take on SA distance without muffs? What's the difference according to you?
I don't see the difference according to feather feeds, muffs or clean feeds, because the most thing that is working from the pigeon is the bloodline that is bred from.
100%. Two of your favorite colors. What colors do you like? Two.
Slates, fill slates.
Oh, you have to show me slates and fell slates. Yeah, later on. Okay, it's not a problem. When you make your beds, do you breed short to long, or is there more to it?
There's more to it because I breed for longer.
Oh, is it? So which one do you prefer? Long to long or short to short?
I'll take long to short. It depends on the length, because to go from deep to go deep again, then it's not going to be a profit for you end of the day. So it only depends on the calculation of the roll that you get, and then you can combine that roll with to make it longer, or you want to make it short. So it depends. But on my side, I create to go longer, because I already had a compatible line that's long, so and a short line, so I can work together and see where I can improve to go longer.
Oh, got it. Do you breed open lofts or individual lofts? Which one is your favorite?
My favorite is closed lofts, like the breeding ones that I have here, 100%. Because in a big loft, it's difficult sometimes if you don't have cages or traps in your nest. So sometimes a cock can mate with a hen, and then suddenly that cock leaves that, then go to another hen, the other cock will come again, and he will mate again with the same hen that cock was mating with. So end of the day, the baby that comes out from that pair you don't actually know from what bloodlines it comes because it's not a clean line. But to breed in a closed loft, you know the cock and the hen, when they mate there, you know the babies can only be from them. That's all you see.
100%.
So actually what we do, if we breed, we keep our hens this separate, we keep our cocks separately, and that's it. We take from the lofts the hen, the cock, you know that hen, she never mated, the cock never mated, put him in the mating box, and from there we know if you breed, you bring just the line from them.
100%. What do you think about roll downs? Do you think they can be used in building a family, or you're just breeding, or you can just breed them? You know, there are people that see things differently. So what's your take about roll downs? According to you, would you use them in building a family?
I'll build a family with a roll down, because you see, a roll down is not actually the fault of the pigeon, because if the owner did his homework properly, then you will have less roll down. But a bird that rolled down is not his fault, it's not the owner's fault, it's the genetic that's in the bird that makes him to roll down. Because sometimes you will get your birds is not maybe at a certain height, and then they already go in roll, but it's a long roll. So at a time of 100 meter and you have long rollers, they're gonna roll down no matter what. But if that bird is about maybe at 900 meters in the air, he can still run about 40 seconds, will still clean open, will still come sit properly without any injuries.
100%. From your competition birds, what made you choose those birds? What is it that you selected in order to say that I'm willing to beat everyone? What is it that you'd share with everyone so that they can also do better when they pick selecting for competition?
You see, the best thing that you do for a competition, you must use your best birds.
Yes.
Because competition is points that's making you growing through the year. Then you get your first leagues, you get your highest scores, you get your longest rolls. So at the start, when you kick off, you must start with a line that can work for you. But mostly what I'm doing, most of my times if I fly, I don't use the same birds. Every time when I fly, I try to put out a new kit to see where my improvement is, because I know when my first kit produced, I know what it did. So I can put them one side for a backup on a later stage. So actually then I can work with the next ones to see how I can do. So end of the year, you know, if you just want to fly long rollers, then you can take out your short ones, because you already through the year calculated where your is, and then you on your final scores you can put your best ones out to put you to a higher point then.
Oh, 100%. How many birds do you stock in a year, and what's your standard for stocking?
Actually, on my stage, when I stock birds, I only stock the best ones. So on the stock, you can only depend if you breed about 120 birds. From the 120, maybe you got about 40 that you'll stock. So that's the one that you'll stock, and then from the next year, you'll just work with them. And from them, if it's not working for you, I'll take them out my lofts. Will sell them, and then I'll just put younger into the lofts that can work on for me. Yeah.
Okay, like from those ones that you have stocked, is it the depth of roll? Is it them kicking open and not rolling down, or is it them going back to the kit? What is it that you standard that you
What I do, I'll take it from the sky, then I'll see it must open for me, it must give the distance that I want, it must open for me properly, and it must also regroup for me to the park. That's the one that I'll keep behind, because that's the one you know you can work with them.
Oh, correct. When should young birds start coming into their role? I've seen birds that start coming into their role at 3 months or 8 months.
Most of my birds that I have here, these ones that you saw today was flying. They're only now about 4.5 months old now. So for me, I said some of your birds, you'll find them on 2 months, 3 months, they will go. But most of the birds, you'll find some of the birds that's coming younger in role. It can last you a time, or sometimes it can be discontinued for you. But most of the people, they believe the older when a bird becomes, the wiser he will be. But end of the day, you'll find birds, you have them more than 5 years, and they're still not rolling about 2 or 3 seconds. So end of the day, for me, I'll try to beat birds. The younger from 3 months, they must already start rolling for me about 5 to 7 seconds as well. But then from there, I'll know they will improve and the rolls will come longer.
So what happens if that 3 or 5 months if you get to that 3 or 5 months and then there's nothing that doesn't roll, do you move them out and then start afresh?
I'll move them out. Better way to start fresh again, but then you also know you're not going to work with the same parents again, but you can also make a change from the hen, put it to another cock, but you know you have the family. But it's not to say if you have the family from the same line, you're going to put that hen to that cock of the same line, you'll have the same what you're going to get end of the day. So also it can be a bonus point for you, or it can maybe be a bad point that you didn't see what you did wrong on that.
Oh, 100%. In a week, how many times do you fly your birds and how do you train your birds?
In a week's time, I'll fly my birds only once a day. If there's no predators that is taking me out. So in my time, I'll only fly my birds once a week. Yeah, one day in a week.
Oh, 100%. In your understanding, what is selective breeding? Or what's the difference between selective breeding and inbreeding?
Selective breeding, I'll see you take something that's going to work for you. But in select breeding, you know what you're breeding from, the line that's from that line, the line that's from that line. So you don't actually try to choose a line that's going to work from you, because then you start playing with birds now. You don't create a line that you actually want.
Oh, 100%. Do you believe that they are flying birds and breeding birds? By that, I mean birds that should never see the air, and their purpose is to be bred only.
No, because my breeding birds, I'll select them from the sky. I won't just take a bird from somebody and I didn't know what he was doing, because to select from without the sky, you don't know what you have, because that guy can tell you he's the best bird, but at the end of the day, the bird don't even roll. He just want to get rid of the bird, you see.
Oh, 100%.
So the best is to choose from the sky, because if you see it rolls there, you know the children will roll as well, yeah.
100%. When you're pairing your birds, do you give them any medication or special foods for them to produce you good babies?
No, nothing. Only if my birds is healthy, I'll keep them healthy. If they may be sick, I'll take them out, put them in a secret sick loft in, then I will still treat them from that side there, and from there, if he can show he did improve and he's healthy again, I'll take him from the sick loft, put him back into the loft, and from there I know I can breed, he will be healthy.
100%. According to you, when is breeding season in South Africa?
My breeding season, what I usually breed is winter times, because I like my winter babies is much stronger than your summer babies. Because summer times, to breed in the summer, you get sick birds, because when it's raining, there's much viruses in the summertime. So actually for me, my best time that I'm breeding in winter times. So actually the time when I'll start breeding from maybe end of July or maybe in the middle of August, and then I'll stop from maybe the first or the middle of November. I'll stop breeding again then.
Oh, 100%. I've heard people say that you shouldn't breed red to red because they tend to get too long for you and end up crushing your cans in most cases. This question comes from you breeding cans to cans that are too long in the air. They end up crushing. Do you believe that red to red, it makes birds crush?
No, it doesn't work for me like that, because even you can take a bird that's a separate color with a separate color, then also you can get long rollers. Even me, if I breed color to color, and so far I didn't have that mistake in